recognizing the leader of the third party.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Minister for walking us through this legislation, and thank you to the opposition for letting me go first so that I can make a meeting in a few minutes. So I'm pleased to rise to speak to the Sexual Violence Policy Act. This bill addresses some key issues regarding the ongoing gaps in sexual violence protections for survivors and accountability from the institutions we expect to protect them. Updating this act is a demonstration that our understanding of sexual assault, its consequences, and how to seek justice are evolving. I want to add a trigger warning for anyone at home listening that this is a heavy topic, and I urge people watching to take care of themselves first and foremost. There's plenty of evidence that we as society are slow to respond to sexual violence and are not prioritizing survivors and accountability. This is evident in how courts treat perpetrators when they are athletes, celebrities, or have promising careers ahead of them. And we prioritize their well-being over the survivors. We recently learned that our national sports leagues have secret funds to pay off survivors of abuse and associated legal fees to protect their players. It seems assault is an integral part of sports culture, not just the exception. We also see this in decreasing access to sexual health services and education. The Green Caucus intends to support the government on this second reading because it is a demonstration of this government doing good work on an important issue. It intends to address some major gaps in how we understand and address sexual assault and how to ensure public institutions make their campuses as safe as possible for everyone. As the father of 11-year-old daughters, I don't have to think about this for a few more years, and I'm putting it off as long as possible, but graduating high school and going off into the world is supposed to be the start of an incredible journey. You leave your small town, your family, and the friends that you've known since kindergarten, and suddenly you're a stranger in a new place. You have to cook for yourself, get to class on time, make new friends, but you no longer have a curfew. Maybe you're going to the bar for the first time. Suddenly there are lessons to be learned, like having a buddy system, what a Burt Reynolds is, and how do you get home safe. Post-secondary is an opportunity to learn about ourselves, to figure out what the future could look like and how to get there. It's also supposed to be a safe space, whether it's learning new things in class, hearing new ideas, or trying new experiences. But not all experiences are good. Some can be quite bad, as we know. And when things go wrong, we expect we'll be protected by the adults around us, our mentors, teachers, and leaders. This legislation makes a very important distinction. It changes the language describing assault to sexual violence rather than misconduct. This new definition creates the inherent understanding that sexual assault is a serious offense and a violation, not just bad behavior. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but if you were to get punched in the face, you would probably describe this as a violent attack and expect it to be treated as such. But for some reason, the discourse and resulting policies on sexual assault have sidelined and downplayed its severity. Any attack on someone's body, mind, or soul is an act of violence. Alongside language modernization, this act will require all 25 of British Columbia's public post-secondary institutions to establish and implement a policy to address sexual violence and have clear procedures for allegations. This includes establishing an advisory board that must include student representation. It will also ensure everyone on campus is safe because assault is not limited to students. BC students have been calling on these changes for years, and they are long overdue, but better late than never. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, here's some data I would like to share with the House. Sexual assault is the most underreported violent crime in Canada. A StatsCan survey done in 2019 revealed that almost 3/4 of students at Canadian university campuses had witnessed or experienced unwanted sexual behavior. 1 in 10 female students experienced a sexual assault in a post-secondary setting. From 2021 to 2022, reported sexual assault in BC rose 15%. 2017 to 2022, police reported sexual assault increased 38% among men and women. However, women are 5 times more likely to be sexual assault survivors than men. Those who identify as bisexual experience sexual assault nearly 29 times higher than heterosexual Canadians. Women with a disability are 4 times more likely to be sexually assaulted, and 70% of trans youth in Canada have experienced sexual harassment. Indigenous women and girls are 16 times more likely to be murdered or disappear. These are horrifying statistics and they're unacceptable. Sexual assault is a highly gendered crime, with women and girls accounting for 90% of reported survivors. 74% of survivors knew the person accused of the crime. Learning how to protect themselves from assault is something that women and queer folk learn at a very young age. It's part of a daily routine. This is where, as a male, I am speaking on behalf of some of the people who helped me write this or wrote this speech for me. They are some of our young caucus team, and this is something that I can't possibly understand. So I'm really grateful for our caucus staff for helping me to understand. Here are some of the things that are done daily to avoid assault. Out for a walk and someone is coming, move to the other side of the street. Taking out headphones, walking through the woods, through a tunnel or a dark street. Calling a friend to share a location. Walking with our keys through our fingers. Putting a coaster on top of a drink. Wearing a nail polish that changes color to see if a drink has been drugged. Pretending to be in a relationship to avoid confrontation. Changing one's clothes, making eye contact or avoiding eye contact. Changing walking routes, changing gyms, not running when it's dark, not running when it's early in the morning. Locking the car doors as soon as we enter a car. Parking in well-lit areas, getting escorted to cars, avoiding elevators, avoiding the stairs. This is a mental load and a burden that I don't have to experience, and I'm chagrined to understand that others do have to think about this at all times. It's a systemic and cultural problem. Just this summer, an independent review of the province's justice system warned that gender-based violence has been, quote, normalized, unquote. According to the report, 94% of sexual assaults were not reported to the police. Part of the blame can be placed on a lack of access to justice for survivors, institutional barriers, and lack of accountability within institutions. This bill addresses one of these issues. Trauma-informed, transparent, and accountable policies are the very least of what we can expect from our public institutions to protect their students and staff. Open, accountable, inclusive, and trauma-informed policies, working groups, and pathways to justice are only a start. This legislation is another step to ensure that policies and annual reports are publicly available every year and updated to ensure they offer the best available protection for survivors. We need to simplify the pathways for survivors to come forward, to be heard, to be taken seriously, and to be protected by their peers and institutions. One of the ongoing issues regarding sexual violence cases are the use of non-disclosure agreements. Too often, they are used as gag orders that enable the concealment of harmful behaviors. Third party has previously called on this government to limit the use of NDAs in cases of assault, harassment, and discrimination. Although this bill does not directly address the use of NDAs as a tool of silence, it is important that this work is being done to fix this issue. In a perfect world, kids are sent to school without a care in the world, but we know that's not the case. Until you've existed in a world where every turn feels like a new danger, it's difficult to explain the significance of clear, consistent, and consultative policy. Policy that is meant to help and not silence. For policy to be successful, its corresponding services need funding. A continuum of care for assault survivors includes on-campus supports, such as support centers. These can be run by student organizations and can provide much-needed ground support. We're looking forward to hearing from this government on how they intend to implement these changes in a good way and support institutions to achieve the best possible outcomes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.